Hello YouTube, hello guys, welcome to another exciting day. Welcome to my channel, welcome to YJ Digital World. I remain your host, Abu Joseph. So guys, on today's tutorial video, we'll be working on the in-depth knowledge of flyer design. Okay, this knowledge can be applicable to every form of flyer design. Okay, so the major core of this tutorial video has to do with creating of custom background, how to blend images to create a good looking background, and how to work on your foreground. Okay, likewise on how to make use of typography to actually help you pass the right message to your target audience. So if this actually sounds like what you are interested in and you're new to the channel, do well to smash the subscribe button if you have not done that. Smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching. So without further ado, let's dive into the design phase. So the first thing I would like us to do here is to create a new Canva workspace by clicking the new file over here. And we'll be creating this using Instagram portrait frame size. This is the parameter. I'll set this on pixels. 1080 of width by 1350 of height is the parameter for Instagram portrait frame size. Resolution can be set on 300. The color mode remains on the RGB color format. For this, we can choose to give our project a name. I'll call this party strip. That is the theme of this design. Okay, and after we're done, click on the create button. So over here we have the Canva workspace on which we'll be designing on. So I would like to bring in the exercise file. So over here I have the exercise files I'll be using for this tutorial video. Do well to check the video description. You'll find the link to this exercise files, guys. Okay, so the first phase of this design has to do with creating of the background. So in order to create the background, I have to find a way to blend these images together to help illustrate the message. Okay, so for this, I'll place this over here and enable this and change the blending mode to a blending mode that will help the look. Okay, I think this is actually okay like this. So after I'm done with that, I'd like to fade out some of this light flare I'm seeing over here, these horizontal lines or slanted lines over here, by adding a filter adjustment all the way to blur and apply the Gaussian blur. I think this is actually looking nice like this. I'll click on the OK button for that. While for this, I'll select this, hit Ctrl T. I need to scale it out properly. I think it's okay like this. I hit the check button. I'll fit back to screen. Okay, so after I'm done with that, you notice the blur is affecting the whole project. So I intended to apply this only on this region. I don't want it to affect other parts of this project. So I'll enable this, select the max layer of the blur, hit Ctrl I to invert the max. You notice this changes to black. So I'll change my foreground color to white to be precise. Pick my brush and control the strength and opacity, that's the flows and opacity. Okay, use the open and close bracket key beside the P button to scale up the size of your brush. Right click and make sure you're working with a soft round brush to be precise. You can see the hardness is on 0%. Okay, that is in terms of that. So after I'm done, I'll come over here and brush out. Let me reduce the flow a little bit. I don't need to brush that out completely. I think this is okay like this, and I can apply the brush on this region like this. I think we are good to go, guys. So after we are done with that, I will move to the next phase, which is have to do with the model. But before doing that, I would like to select both layers. Select the first layer, hold shift, select the last layer, hit Ctrl G to group this and give it a name. BG, which stands for the background. So the next has to do with the model images. So here are the model images I'll be using. So I always advise you to always right click on your image and convert it to a smart object. By doing so, it enables you to maintain the quality of the image whenever you scale it out and scale it in without actually losing quality. Okay, and it's also enable you to make subsequent changes at any point in time in the design phase. Okay, so for this, I'll select both layers, hit Ctrl T, scale it down like this and place it around somewhere here like this. I think this is okay like this. Okay, make sure that they are equally aligned. Okay, So after you're done with that, hit Ctrl T for this particular image, right click and flip it horizontally and take this image this way like this. Okay, you can hit the check. For this, you can take this over here like this. Okay, hit Ctrl T and take it to somewhere around here like this as well. So after I'm done, I hit the check. So I can select both layers, group them by hitting Ctrl G, Ctrl A to make a selection of the canvas. Make sure the group is selected. Pick your move tool and align this horizontally to the middle. Ctrl D to deselect. So this image is now aligned to the middle. So the next thing I would like to do is to start adding depth to the images. Okay, for the first, okay, I think I'll place this like this. So the first one here, I will select the layer, which is this, come to the filter and I'll click on camera raw. So on the camera raw here, I'll be adding depth to this image to be precise. So this is the before and this is the after. So the first thing I'll start with has to do with the basics. So on this basic panel, my main focus is usually on the texture layer. So I'll scale up the texture so you can see the preview of the effect on the design, on the image rather. I also work on the clarity of the image by boosting up the clarity a little bit. And I usually like to desaturate my image so that basically the main essence of me desaturating my image is to create room for blending at the final phase of my design. Okay, in a situation whereby I have multiple images that have different skin tone, I have to desaturate them so that when I'm doing the final color grading, all the whole images will have a similar feel or same feel color, and it will look nice for the project. Okay, so I'll be showing you that in the next part of this tutorial. So I'll move forward by coming to the exposure and add a little depth to my exposure this way. Okay, this is more of an eyeballing situation. The contrast as well can be boosted up a little like this. Okay, I can go further by adding more, reducing the highlights like this. The shadows as well will be worked upon. The whites on this image can be scaled up as well. The blacks as well can be boosted up a little bit. I think we are good. So after we are done, you can come to the details, add a little feel of sharpening to this. Okay, you can scale up the sharpening of the image and apply a little feel of noise reduction to the image. So I think we are good like this. I'll click on the OK. So this is the before and the after. You can see how this is actually looking like. So click on the OK. Okay, that is in terms of that. So after I'm done with that, I would like to also work on this image by coming to filter as well, apply the camera raw filter to this as well. So I'll start by working on the basics as well. So the first thing I would like to work on has to do with the exposure for this. So I'll boost up the exposure a little bit. Okay, the contrast can be boosted up, highlights as well. Okay, it is more of an eyeballing situation, so you allow your eyes to actually guide you. So the next we'll work on the, I think what else should I adjust over here? So work on the black. The white is okay. So the next thing we'll work on the black by reducing it a little bit. Okay, that is in terms of the black. Okay, so after we are done with the black, we come to the texture. These are my main focus area. So for the texture, I usually like to add more texture to it and work on the clarity, add a little feel of clarity to this. Okay, this as well, I like to adjust it a little. Okay, so I'll let your eyes actually guide you. And here as well, I also desaturate it so that when I'm doing the final color grading, the color will be balanced. So come to details as well, add a little bit of sharpening to this. Okay, So this is, let me enable the before so that you can see how it's actually looking like. Okay, so I think this is okay. The noise reduction can be added a little, just a little feel of noise reduction. I think you can see the before and the after, and we can click on the OK button. Okay, so you can see I'm trying to create a scene whereby the both model will be having a similar kind of feel in terms of skin texture. Okay, and not actually desaturating the full color, that is the actual color of the skin. So you desaturate it to a good minimum where the colors won't be actually be lost out. So after I'm done with that, I'll start by working on this now. Okay, so I like to actually add a selective color to this and click on the clip marks. Okay, on the selective colors on this red, I would like you to understand that the selective colors are made up of different colors. Likewise, these sliders work with the CMYK, that is the cyan, magenta, yellow, and the black, the CMYK. While the opposite side, you have the RGB, that is the red, the green, and the blues. Okay, so on this other end, you have the black, so black and the white. So over here, in order for me to actualize this, I would like to start by working on the reds on this image. Okay, on this lady's body here. So I will scale up this. If I'm scaling it up like this, I'm adding more of blue. If I'm taking it this way, I'm adding more of red to the image. Okay, so I will play with the reds a little. Okay, I'm not working on magenta. I'm not working on any green or magenta here. So I'm working on the yellows. So for the yellows as well, I need to boost up the yellow so that it can be actually visible for this. I think this is okay like this. So I can still change this to yellow and work on the yellows as well. I think this is okay. Likewise, I just worked on the red over here. So here I'll work on the yellows by scaling this up like this. I'm adding more of yellow to this image to be precise. Okay, I think it's okay like this. So after I'm done with that, I think I'm good to go. I'll come over here on my adjustment and enable another adjustment layer called the color balance. Click on the clip mark so that the effect will be only on the model image, not the entire project. Okay, for the color balance, I'll work on the midtones. This is also has to do with cyan, red, magenta, green. So if I'm taking this one, I'm adding red. If I'm taking this one, I'm adding the cyan effect. So I'll start by the midtones. So on the midtones here, I'd like to actually add a little feel of red. Okay, for the yellows, I also boost up the yellows a little bit like this. Okay, you let your eyes to actually guide you. So I'll add a little depth on the shadows as well. For the shadows, I'll take this like this. For this as well, we boost up the yellow a little bit. That is for the shadow regions. While for the highlights, I would like to boost the reds so that it can be visible. While on this end, I'll boost up the yellows a little bit. That is in terms of this. So after I'm done with that, I'll still add another field of adjustment. I'm trying to give life to the image. Click on the clip marks. These levels are made up of 3 regions. This end are called the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. So I'll only work on the shadow region and a little bit on the highlights. So for this, I'll set this to about this. I think this is okay. Why this can be scaled to somewhere like this. Okay, so it's more of an eyeballing situation. I think this is okay like this. Okay, so this is for this other lady. For over here, I'll come over here, select this and add a color balance to this. Okay, I'm trying to add depth. So I'll click on the clip mark so that the effect will be only on the model image. Okay, so I'll start by working on the midtones as well, adding a feel of red. Okay, and a feel of yellow to this. Okay, change this to highlights. So for the highlights as well, I would like to play with this as well by boosting this up a little like this. For this as well, I would like to play with this. For the yellows as well, need to boost up the yellows. That's in terms of that. Come over here and change all the way to the shadows and add depth to the shadows and boost up this as well, the yellows. Okay, I think this is actually okay like this. So I can still move a step further by enabling the levels. Click on the clip mark so that it will affect only the levels, to be precise. Work on the shadows, okay, and work on this as well. I think this is actually looking nice. So after we are done with the levels, we are actually good to go. We are good to go. So I can come over here and close the group and name this group ladies. Okay, that is in terms of that. So after I'm done, I can choose to add the vector marks to this group. Okay, so after adding this, I can choose to pick my gradient to over here. Okay, make sure I set my gradient to the black and white. Okay, that is under the basics. You can set it on black and white. Okay, make sure this is set on linear, to be precise. So for me to brush out some of this part of the model, I have to switch this to black. The black enables me to hide what I don't want on this image on the white marks layer. So I hold shift, left click and drag out like this. So after you're done using the gradient, I would like us to add a little feel of adjustments to this image. So I'll come to my adjustment layer here, enable the curve. So I'll enable the curve, click on the clip marks, add a little feel of shadow. Please take note that the curve adjustment is made up of 3 parts as well. These ends are the highlight, the middle regions are the midtones, while these ends are called the shadow. So me taking it this way, I'm adding more shadow to the project. Me taking it this way, I'm adding more highlights. So I'll add a little feel of shadow to this. I think this is okay like this. Okay, so you can now see the image and the background has a similar feel of red tones, okay, on the image. Okay, so I can move forward by creating a layer over here, picking my brush, scaling up the flows and the opacity, making sure I'm working with the soft round brush, to be precise. Okay, so I can hold Alt on my keyboard to actually sample a region from my image here. Okay, scale up the size of my brush, left click and brush, Ctrl T, scale it up properly like this. Place it over here, change the blending mode to, I think this will work perfectly well. The screen works perfectly well for that. I think that is in terms of that. I can still choose to reduce the size a little bit and place it around here like this. Okay, hit Ctrl J, make another duplicate and place one around somewhere here like this. I'm trying to create that scene that the light reflection from the background is what you're seeing on the body of the model, to be precise. Okay, that is the scene I'm actually trying to create. So I can still hit Ctrl J again, make another duplicate and place it around a region like this. Okay, create another layer here, pick your brush to hold Alt, sample the reds over here, brush, Ctrl T, scale it up, place it around here like this. I think this is okay. Check. You can also change the blending mode to screen as well, so you can see the effects on the model image. So I'm trying to add depth from the background to what we have on the foreground so that it will have that feel of they are both working together. Okay, so for this I can still choose to control the strength by reducing the opacity for the layer to about, I think this is okay like this. I think this is okay like this. So I can select all the whole layers for this, select this layer, hold shift, select this layer, hit Ctrl G and can call this light. Okay, this signifies the light I added to the project. Okay, that is in terms of that. So after we're done with that, I would like to place in the theme of the event. Okay, the theme of the event, I'll pick my text tool over here, left click and type the theme of the event. So this is the theme of the event. It is called party strip. That is the actual theme of the event. So for this, I will be changing the font to a font called Salita. Is the name of the font I'm actually using for this. Okay, so this should be in small letters. Okay, not caps. So increase the size Okay, hold Alt, create a duplicate and place in the stripe text over here, the strip text rather, and I think we are good to go. Scale this down and place it around somewhere here like this. Select the two layers and make sure they are aligned in between each other like this. Okay, so I can choose to actually group them. Hit Ctrl A on the keyboard to select the whole canvas. Select the group, make sure the group is actually selected. Pick your move to align it to the middle of the canvas. Ctrl D to deselect. You can choose to give this project, this group a name by calling this the theme of the event. So I think we are good to go. So I can adjust the position like this. So after I'm done, I'll select the party text, double click on it. The layer styles will come up, and on this I'll be making use of the gradients. I've actually created a preset for gradients I'm actually using. So I set my gradients overlay like this. So I'll be showing you the hex code for the color. On this end, here is the hex code for the color I used. Y for this other end, here is the hex code for the color I used. At the mid region over around here, here is the hex code I use, and here is the position of this, here is the position of this, and here is the position of this as well. So after you're done, click on the OK. Leave other settings the way they are like this on your screen, and you can click on the OK. So after I'm done, I'll hold Alt where I have this FX icon. Hold Alt to drag the layer style to this other layer over here. Okay, so after I'm done, I'll enable this leave image here. Okay, hit Ctrl T, select the leave image layer first, hit Ctrl T, scale it up a little. I think this is okay. Hold Alt in between the leave image and the group layer. You notice your mouse pointer changes to this when you hold Alt left click to create a clipping mask. Okay, so after you're done with that, you can change the blending mode to a blending mode that will help. I think this will actually work perfectly well. So that is in terms of that. So I'll add more depth by coming to the theme, double clicking on the layer that is on the theme group, double clicking on it, come to drop down shadows, and I would like to add shadows to this. Okay, so I'll boost this up, increase the size, and work on the directions, and choose to place it somewhere like this. Okay, I think this is actually okay like this. After I'm done, I can leave other settings the way they are like this. So I had to apply that by adjusting it like this, by left clicking and dragging the position to adjust the position the way I want it to be. I can still control the opacity the way I want it and click on the OK button. That is in terms of that. I can still choose to reduce the size of the text a little bit. Okay, and still choose to take it up a little bit. Okay, so after we are done with that, the next thing I'd like us to do is to enable guides. Okay, so that we can give the project a good structure. So I'll come over here and enable the guides. I'll set this on let me see, 7 okay, 5% should be okay. 5% for this, 7% for this, 5%, 7% for this. Okay, I'll leave it like this and click on the OK. That is for the guides. So after I'm done, I'll start by adding other set of information for the project. So I'll pick my text to come over and place in this text. Okay, for this I'll be making use of a font called Urbanist, to be precise for this. So for this I'll set this on the font style of semi-bold, or let me see, extra bold works. While for this I would like to set this for the regular. I think the regular is okay like that. I think Ctrl A, pick your move tool and align this horizontally. Ctrl D to deselect. Use your navigation key. You can still hit Ctrl T to increase the size. Okay, and place it like this. Okay, so on the character panel here, this is the way I set my trackings and my spacing between the text. Okay, so in case you don't have your character panel here, you can enable it from view and from Windows and click on the character panel over here, and you're good to go. So the next thing I would like to do is to place in the venue. So for this, I'll use the same font as well. For this, I'll change this to bold. While for this, I like to set this on regular. I think that is actually okay. Can still increase the size by scaling up this like this. Okay, check. Okay, so you can align it to the middle. Ctrl A, pick your move tool and align this to the middle. Ctrl D to the select. Ctrl T, you can scale it out like this and place it around here like this. Okay, so I can take it a step further by applying my color for this. So I'll pick my text to select this text and sample a color. Okay, so for this, here is a hex code. There is a hex code for the color I actually used for this. Okay, that is a hex code. I still choose to increase the size of this theme to, let me say, extra bold. Will work perfectly well. That is for the address or the venue, and position this around here. So the next line of text should be the contact for reservation. So for reservation purpose, I like to set this on light under the same font family. While for the remaining line of text, I like to set it on bold. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is to create contrast. The main focus here is the phone number, not the actual text beside it. So I can still choose to align the text and increase the tracking, that space between the text. Pick my move tool and align this to the middle. Ctrl D, Ctrl T, hold Alt, scale this down like this, and still scale it down. Okay, Ctrl H to hide your guide. This is how it's actually looking like so far. Ctrl H to turn on your guides. So the next thing I would like to do is to start placing other shapes that I'll use to place other information on this design. So I'll start by creating one for the date for the event. Okay, that is for that. So I'll be sampling this color over here for the shape, and I would like to change for the shape, I would like to change the blending mode. Okay, I think this is okay like this. Okay, so I can still choose to add a feel of depth by double clicking, add a little feel of shadow, not too heavy like that. I think this is okay like this. Okay, and start placing the date and time. So I'll come over here, paste in the date. For this, I would like to increase the size of the text. Okay, while for the date as well, I would like to set this on extra bold. I need it to be visible. Come to your character panel and increase the space. Okay, for this, I'll select this on the character panel and enable the superscript. Okay, so that the text can move to the top. Okay, so I'll take this over here on my layer, hold Control, the mouse pointer changes to this where you have this rectangle. When you hold your Control button, left click to select the shape. Okay, make sure the text layer is selected. Pick your move to align horizontally and vertically into the rectangle. Ctrl D to deselect. Ctrl T, you can still scale it up the size of the text, and you're good to go. That is in terms of that. Okay, so you can select both layers, still scale it down the way you want it. Okay, so I can still choose to actually create another duplicate by hitting Ctrl J. Okay, take this down like this, and we are good to go. Select only the rectangle layer here and take this like this. Okay, so pick your text tool and edit this text by putting the time of the event, which is 9 p.m. and you can still use the same method to align this into the middle of the rectangle. Ctrl H to hide, and this is actually looking nice. Okay, so That is in terms of that. So I can select this layer, hold shift, select this layer, group them together, and call this date and time. That is in terms of that. So I can still move further by making the duplicate of this rectangle. Hold dot, left click and drag it outside the group, and you can place it around somewhere like this. Turn on your guides. Okay. You can choose to come over here and paste in the name of your DJ, sample this yellow and select a lighter value of it. Okay. That is in terms of that. While for the DJ text, I would like to set it on bold to be precise. Okay. Adjust the leading, that is space between the text on the horizontal. Okay. And I can choose to place it around somewhere here like this. Okay. It should be above the rectangle layer. Okay. So after you're done, you can hit Ctrl J, make a duplicate and take this above. Pick your text tool, okay, and call this music policy. Okay, for the music policy text, I would like to change the fill color to this. So after we're done with changing the music policy text to that, I think we can align it into the canvas. Can choose to still scale this down a little. That is in terms of that. So for this, let me see if I play with this, how will it actually look like. I think it will look nice by setting this on linear light. Okay, so I can choose to scale this down. Ctrl plus to zoom in and scale it out like this. Okay, for this, select the layers and group them together. So I'll call this music policy. Ctrl J to make another duplicate and place it around somewhere here like this. Okay, for this I'll call this hype policy. Okay, so I'll place in the names of the hype men for the event. Okay, so after you're done, you can actually align it and you're actually good to go. That is in terms of that. Okay, so that's in terms of that, guys. So that is for the hype and the music policy. So I can still choose to make a duplicate of this and take it to somewhere around here like this. Okay, check, select the rectangle layer and take it up like this. Okay, so I'll come over here, select this text and replace them with this. Adjust its position like this. Okay, select the hype policy text and take it to the top like this. Let me scale up the size of this rectangle by taking it up this way. Change this text to activities. I think this is okay. Ctrl 0. Okay. Okay, that is in terms of that. Ctrl H to hide the guides. I can still make further adjustments by coming over here and scaling down the size a little bit. Ctrl plus, hold Alt and Shift to scale from both top and bottom like that. Ctrl 0. I think this is okay like this. Ctrl H to actually hide. Okay, so after we're done with that, would like to work on this theme text. Can still adjust it a little bit and take it this way. For this, I can still choose to scale it down a little bit to create room for other elements to actually breathe. Okay, That is in terms of that. While for this, let me turn on the guides. So for this, I would like to take this down like this. While for this, I would like to take this down a little bit. Okay, the theme of the event can be scaled down a little and take it downward like this. Okay, so I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is actually looking nice at the moment. So for the final phase, you can still choose to take the design a step further by adding the color lookup adjustment and play around to see what actually works for you. Okay, so you can play around and see the one that works for you. Okay, so this is without the color lookup and this with the color lookups. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have been able to achieve the core of today's tutorial. If you find this tutorial helpful, do well to give it a like, do well to smash the like button, guys. If you like to see more content like this and you have not subscribed, do well to smash the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell to get notification whenever I upload new content on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always watching. If you have any question, any comments, you can leave your questions and comments in the comment section. The link to the exercise file is in the video description. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next.